both know for a fact, working on this together for the last 6 months or so, that the government either hasn't or refuses to grasp the true scale of what's going on here. And I think that they, along with the general public, I suppose as well, is still looking at this as a cladding panels situation. I mean, and what happened at Grenfell was tragic. And I think a lot of the focus, though, in the media covering it more generally has been on those panels and how the panels spread the fire. And I think the word cladding has now corresponded to those panels. Yeah. And I think a lot of managing agents, the public, and even leaseholders as well are thinking, well, we need to get our panels checked. And they're not realising that when they have someone in to do this survey, they are checking those panels, of course, but when those panels come off the wall, well, how they're attached to the wall is the installation right, like the render elsewhere in the building. And as you say, cavity barriers either missing, installed incorrectly. People aren't realising just how much there is to this. EWS1 form itself, when that was introduced just over a year ago now, and the way that would not only impact people's lives, their finances, and the buildings themselves, but also the property market. People behind a campaign have been fantastic, whether they're starting the cladding groups, whether they're puppets. There are a lot of very, very informed people behind this campaign.
There are some buildings that are still yet to even have an inspection. And we've also got the case of the ones under 11 metres that are caught up in this, that don't have those routes to funding, who are going to be battling this constantly as well. So if we've still got buildings that we need to investigate, we've now got EWS1 forms expiring for the first time, because a lot of them would have been done around 2020. It is 5 years, isn't it?
Yep.
It's 5 years. So yeah, we're at the point now where they'll need to be done again. Will they uncover different issues, different fire engineers, different opinions? So this information should be being stored somewhere. And I think it's completely unacceptable that some people are finding that they just can't get hold of it. Plans should have been submitted to local councils. Building control specifically should be signing off these designs. There should be copies of these being kept absolutely everywhere. You'll have flats there looking at bankruptcy. And that was what we were warning about at the time. And that's what the campaign really gathered momentum in the press and on Twitter, as it was at the time, to highlight just how many lives potentially going to be ruined by these costs, because it wasn't just our building, it was potentially thousands across the country. The scars are going to be forever, just because of the amount of work that went in to exposing this and getting anyone to really do anything about it and take it as seriously as they should do. So it shouldn't have taken a tragedy like Grenfell to expose it. Like I said, there's trust in the process of buying a property, and this has completely undermined that entire system. If a building can be put up and it doesn't match the drawings and there are materials that have been swapped out, that's bad enough. But the fact that nobody checked it afterwards, and likely never would have done if Grenfell hadn't happened, that's the truly shocking part, I think, of all of this. I am out of the situation I found myself in with the flat. So we were able to sell last October, after an ordeal of the last 4 years that possibly 5 or 6 years that you're well too aware of.